So this is the 2018 STAR test for the 7th graders. I want to continue on question 9. I've got a lot of work written, and so that's going to speed up my video for you. So I've got ratio of boys to girls, 2 to 3, and then the class is obviously 2 to 3. And so I just transferred the numbers here. It was easier. There's 18 girls in the classroom. What is the total number of kids in the class? So if you see ratio, you should know it's a proportion. You should know start, diagonal, divide. You should know you're going to be simplifying. All those things. So, and you should know you need nouns. And if you notice when you grab these numbers and put them here, there's your nouns. So 2 boys, 3 girls, and then 18 girls goes here. X goes here. When you find X, you're finding boys. I don't know if that's the answer, but that's what you're finding. And so if you do, put X here, 2 times 18 divided by 3, you'll get 2 times 18 divided by 3. I can do 18 as 6 times 3 factor trees. Take out the 3's, and 6 times 2 is 12. Or 3 times blank is 18, 6, so 2 times 6 is 12. Same answer. If you notice 12 is here. It's not the answer though. Go read the question. What's the total of the kids in the class? Students are boys and girls. You had to get a total of these two numbers. And by the way, think about the word total. There's a T for add and there's a plus sign. That is 30. Choice B. Next question. Question 10. It is a triangular prism. And so there's your, and I do like having this here because that tells you the base and that tells you the 3D shape. So we did volume. I got my formula from the formula chart. I drew my boxes. I know, you love them, right? I got volume equals half base height height. The base height came from this triangle. Remember, the triangle is half base height. This height is the 3D piece. So then I got half right here. And the base of this triangle is 12. The height of this triangle is 8. And then this number is the height of the 3D, which is this number. These two numbers are slant heights. They're the ends. You don't need those. Not if you're doing this question. You would need those if you were doing perimeter. Alrighty. I took half of 12 because I thought half of 12 would be easier. Half of 12 is 6. So these two boxes became one number. And then 6 times 8 is 48. 48 times 34 gave me 1632. And that's answer H. Question 11. So, I played with this question a lot, and it was like we were kind of stumped there for a few minutes. The table shows the relationship between Y, the cost of rent a boat, X, the amount of time the boat is rented. So, we're looking at a table. We're thinking, okay, Y equals MX plus B, and you're right. And so, I'm looking for these X's, and these are the Y's. So, that's what you're going to do. So, on the X-axis, find these numbers. On the Y-axis, find these numbers. If you notice, those aren't 1 through 5 or whatever, 7. They have them over here. These numbers are backwards. By the way, A's wrong. By the way, same problem. That should have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down here. And this should have been the 32s, the 50s. This one's backwards. Wrong. Next two. Now, what I ended up doing, I just brought my table down with me because it was easier to watch the screen. Put your finger on 1 on the X. There's my finger. And go up and find 32. So, and when you go up, let me grab my pencil here. You're going to put a polka dot on that line. Is that polka dot 32? Is that number 32? No. So go find 3. Go up until you hit the line. Is that number supposed to be, it's supposed to be 56. Is that a 56? No. Okay, B's not it either. By the way, D is. Because here's 1. That's 32. 3. That's 56. 5. That's 80. Choose your fingers. Next. Question 12. Question 12 I kind of like too. So you've got the sum of the measures of angle M and R are 90 degrees. Wouldn't 90 degrees be a right angle? Yeah, it would. There's my little right. And I just drew a right angle. I just divided it. I didn't pick anything in particular. And so I put M here and here's R. And then if M is this and R is that, wouldn't they equal 90? Because they are a right angle. So then I came down here and wrote an equation. Here's the first piece. Here's the 55. Equals 90. Can't you, and by the way, I use parentheses so you could see angle 1, angle 2. It doesn't mean multiply. It's organization. Couldn't I add the 55 and 10 and get 65? You're not crossing the bridge, so you don't have to change a sign. So I'm just going to blend those together to get 65 so I have less to work at. And so you have 5x plus 65 equals 90. Can I play triangle circle? Move the 65 to this side, cross the bridge, change the sign. Delete, bring that down. That's going to be 25. Divide by 5, and then x equals 5. And 5 is the same as $5. So when you put this answer in, I prefer this one over the 5, because if you type in $5, you put them in the right spot. If you put in a 5, you could put it anywhere, and that'd be wrong. Set your stuff to money. I prefer not single numbers. And you need to mark the 5, the 0, the 0. I don't care if you mark the plus sign or not. If it's negative, you have to. Do you really have to bubble the zeros in? You don't have to, but you better have it filled in so you don't put the 5 in the wrong place. Because if you put the 5 here or here, it's wrong. This is the only exception, only place that will accept this answer choice. Next question. On question 13, we haven't talked about that, so I'm going to skip that. I'll catch it at the next video. Question 14. So we haven't really talked about area of the total surface, but we actually have. So I'm going to complete this question. We've already done this math. You just don't know you've done this math. So here we go. It says the top surface of a desk is composed of 2 rectangles and a triangle. Some side lengths of the top surface are shown below. So they didn't give you all the numbers, but they gave you what you need. What is the area of the top surface of the desk in square feet? Now, I would make sure everything's in feet. Feet, 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 feet. Answers are in feet. You're good to go. Did you notice these things have a little 2? What does that little 2 mean? So if you had feet to the second, and then feet to the third. By the way, this is the same as feet to the first. What does that mean? That's either length, width, or perimeter, even circumference, because that's the same thing. This is area only. This one is volume only. So if you would know that one piece of information, when you see that little 2, you're dealing with area. So what does that mean? You need area formula. How well do you know your area formulas for rectangles and triangles? I hope pretty good. By the way, this is really a composite question is what it becomes now. So what you're going to do is find the area of all the tops, and you're going to add it. That's a rectangle, plus a triangle, plus a rectangle. When you get those 3 answers, you'll pick your answer choice. The end. So I went ahead and did all the work because it would take way too long in this video to show that. So I've got base times height for this rectangle. I've got area's half base times height for the triangle. And I've got base times height for this rectangle. And I'll just start putting the pieces together. And naturally, they've got to have all these decimals. So that's 1.5 times 2.5. So area is base times height. 1.5 times 2.5. Area equals this answer. I did not actually stop and multiply at that point. I just kept going. I'll do that at the end. Next one. I got area equals half times base times height. So remember, this is 1.5 because it came from here. This height came from over here. So you're doing half times 1.5 times 1.5. Now, you could have done 1.5 times 1.5, and I actually know it's 225 because I have that memorized, but you may not. You could have done half of $1.50, which is 75 cents, and 75 cents times $1.50 would have gave you this answer. Or do 15 times 15, divide by 2, your choice. You still get the same answer, 1.125, and I would have rounded that to $1.13 and not messed around with it. Next one. Area equals base times height, and remember that's going to be the 2.5 and that's the 1.5, and the only good news is you get the same 2 twice, and so 3.75. I would probably take the time to either double check this math to make sure you didn't multiply anything wrong, because I actually did 5 times 2 is 10, and then 5 times 5 is still 10 again. So I guess I love that number. But checking your math, because if you make one mistake here, you've made 2. So then I got $3.75, $1.13, $3.75. I took the time, added it. I got 8.63. There it is. I caught my mistake because I didn't have that answer that I found. And I knew it started with an 8, so I was pretty sure this was the answer. But I went back and found my mistake. We're not guessing. That's like driving with your eyes closed. Alrighty, so here's question 15. You got a manager at a movie theater. You got 50 kids, enter the movies. Here's their survey of what they watch. And now you got the torture of the questions. So here we go. You got a person is 3 times as likely to prefer comedy as horror. So I've got the vocabulary, comedy versus horror. Comedy's 15, horror was 12. Is this number 3 times bigger than that one? Is this number 3 times bigger than that one? No. So it's out. Well, next one. Drama versus horror. Drama is 6 and horror was 12. Is a person is twice as likely to watch drama? I don't think so. I think this is less, not twice. This one's twice, but this one's not twice. It says a person is twice as likely to watch drama. If it was twice, that would be the big number. Nope, that one's wrong. The next one, a person is less likely to prefer horror or drama. Remember, that means add. So I added those numbers and I got, what did I get here? 18? If I can write. And then the other one is action. And it says this number is less than that number. Is 18 less than 17? No, that's wrong too. And then choice D says this person is more likely to watch scary movies and comedy versus action and drama. So you're going to take these two and add them. I get 27. And then take these two and then you add them and get 23. How did I know to add? Because or, and mean add in math at least. So is this number here more than that number? Sure. The answer is D. Lots of word games there. Question 16. The diagram shows a door that has a window in it. The front face of the door and the window are similar. Similar. Love those words. And have dimensions shown. Now I'm checking for, crazy things like units. Centimeters, 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 centimeters. We're good to go. You know this not here? Unless you have a really good reason, I wouldn't be picking it either. Look, you have 1, 2, 3 numbers and I'm missing. What could you do with that and similar? I think that might be a proportion, people. So couldn't that be a line, double line, maybe another line? And I'm missing some numbers, right? So I can do X on top, 60 on bottom. So I did tall and wide. So this is the tall part. And this is the base. I think I'm going to go with base. So that could be really height too. I think I'll go with height. And then wouldn't the base be 84? Yeah. And how tall is this? 210. Ta-da! Now you get these crazy answers that you get to play with, and I hope you're good at your trees. You could have simplified this if you wanted to. I mean, you can. So 210 divided by 84. I mean, you could try, or you could just set it up and start playing here. I think I'm just going to set mine up and keep going. So I'm going to start, diagonal, divide. So you're going to do, and I need some space, you're going to do 210 times 60, and you're going to divide that by 84. And you better start thinking about some good trees. Now I can help you with some trees. Wouldn't that be 21 times 10? Wouldn't that be 6 times 10? The zeros are 10s. Couldn't that be 7 times 3? 5 times 2, 3 times 2, 5 times 2. That's pretty quick. So 7 times 3, 5 times 2, 3 times 2, 5 times 2. Okay, that's the top numbers. What about this 84? I don't know. I'm thinking 84 divided by 4 maybe, because that would be 21, right? Because 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times 1 is 4. So I could do 4 times 21. And isn't 21 7 times 3? And isn't 4 2 times 2? I got it, I think. Now start whacking off the tree things going on. So you've got, here's the 2 times 2. So here's 2 of them. Here's 1. Here's 1 more. Do you have a 3 up there? I do. Do you have a 7 up there? I do. I think you whacked everything off the bottom. Whatever's left on the top is the answer. So you've got 5 times 3, that's 15. And that's 10. So it's 15 times 10 unless I lost a number. Those are gone. 5 times 3 is 15, and that's 10. Answer is 150. Now, I will say this. If you had 21 sitting here, and you had 7 and 3 sitting here, you could have said 21, and then 7 and 3. You didn't actually have to break that down further. Wasn't necessary, but you could have. All right, here's question 17. I got a minute, so I'm going to go quick. So you've got caramel apples. There's 120 of them, and they got all these crazy toppings. And naturally, you got all these crazy fractions. Then they say the rest with sprinkles, and you're supposed to figure out the rest, which is sprinkles. Fair enough. So, and if you notice, the answers are not too crazy. If you're picking 100, you got another thing coming. So I changed those fractions. So I changed the fractions to 20%, 33%, 30%. I totaled, got 83. Subtracted from 100 because percent's of 100. I got 17%. I took the 17% and multiplied that back out to 120 with your start diagonal divide. 17 over 100, x over 120. And then 17 times 120 divided by 100. I did a lot of trees over here. And then I ended up with 17 times 6 divided by 5, and I got 20. Yay, D.